Today is a day that I am very excited about. We have the brand new 2021 Audi RS7 here. I've always really liked the RS7, so much so that I bought one as my daily driver for a bit. That was a 2016 RS7, also finished in Nardo Gray, so the C7.5 generation. But here we have the brand new C8 generation, again, a 2021 model year vehicle. The other really big news for this gen of RS7 isn't actually specific to the RS7, it's the fact that we also get the RS6 Avant, the wagon, finally in America. So you can pick between either the wagon with the same powertrain as this RS7 or this, the Sportback. Special thanks to Fletcher Jones Audi in Chicago for making this video possible. They have this RS7 available for sale. It's one of the first ones to come to America. Nardo Gray, 22-inch wheels. We'll talk a little bit more about the configuration, but if you want it, come get this car because I am so excited about it and it is awesome. In terms of powertrain, still a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, but revised, updated, shared across the family. So if you think RS Q8, RS6, even things like the Urus and the Panameras, but 591 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. Healthy increases over the original RS7, which was 560 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. Now, there was a RS7 Performance for the C7.5 gen that made 605 horsepower and overboosted up to 553 pound-feet of torque. But here is just the regular RS7 with 591 and 590. 8-speed automatic transmission, quattro all-wheel drive, obviously, standard sports differential. Also, 0 to 60 is claimed to be 3.5 seconds. With the previous gen RS7, there were a lot of tests that had it slightly faster, but 3.5 seconds for a 5,000-pound luxury sedan is pretty impressive. Top speed is limited to 174 miles an hour, but if you get the carbon ceramic brakes, it goes up to 190, which is a lot of speed for a vehicle of this size. In terms of exterior styling, the newest RS7 is even more modern and even more aggressive. For the first time, they've widened the fenders. It's almost an inch wider on the fronts and the rears, and it looks insanely aggressive. Same with the front fascia, which is different from the A7, S7, much more aggressive. Obviously, you have the honeycomb style blacked out quattro grille. This has the black optics package, so you get blacked out trim, badges, all sorts of things. You can get the standard, which is just the silver finish. I think it's called Alu Optics, and then there is carbon optics available, which is going to cost a little bit more, but you get a lot of carbon fiber trim. Laser headlights that do the really cool dance when you unlock the car and they light up sequentially. Same with the turn signals and the hazards. Tail lights has a giant light bar too, and it has a lot of action to it for lights turning on and off, and laser headlights. That's pretty big deal too. This vent up here is not just a stylistic element too. This like right below where the hood closes. It's actually functional. That's where air goes in. Originally I thought it was just a stylistic trim piece, but it actually is 100% functional. Now this car is on the upgraded wheels with the black optics package. Those are 22s, which is really big. The base wheel now on the RS7 is a 21-inch wheel, which originally on like my generation car, it started with 20s and you could upgrade to 21s. And I actually went back to 20s because I thought 21s just felt a little too big. You don't get as much sidewall. So we've gone up even further. So good luck trying to find 22-inch winter tires because those are probably going to cost a fortune. Regardless, they do look really awesome, really cool design. You can get them blacked out too. And then behind the wheels, you see enormous brakes. The brake calipers on this car finished in red are hilariously massive, and these are just the steels. You can get carbon ceramic brakes. Another thing I did notice actually, talking about the brakes, the wave rotors are gone. They're just regular circular. Before, like the R8s, the RS5, RS7 will get the wave steel rotors for, it was supposedly to reduce unsprung mass and also increase surface area for heat rejection, but just regular steel brakes now with massive calipers to help slow down a very heavy vehicle. This is Audi's curb weight is like 4938, so almost 5,000 pounds, which I was looking it up, is actually heavier than a Q7. And a Q7 will seat 7 people, which I think is funny, but I mean, you have huge, giant V8, air suspension, all the performance stuff to make this. It is heavy, it's gotten a lot heavier than the previous gen, but it also looks more aggressive. I didn't finish talking about exterior, so around back, again, the roof line is still Sportback, so similar to the previous gen RS7, A7, S7, same body style. Not quad exhaust tips, big oval exhaust tips blacked out with a diffuser out back. Overall, this RS7 looks great. I'm a little bit partial to Nardo Gray, having owned a Nardo Gray RS7 before and really like the color and the finish, but this latest gen has that perfect blend of aggression, a modern touch to it. Let's hop on the inside, talk about the interior, then we'll take it for a drive and see what this almost 600 horsepower brand new RS7 feels like. On the inside, the RS7 has a couple unique touches. Black and red start-stop button, a couple RS badges on the steering wheel, and then the seats, the new RS Sport seats, have that quilted pattern to it. This one's got the contrast gray stitching. You can get red stitching, subtle RS logo embossed on the back too. And the other really big news that I'm excited about, the Sport seats are finally available with ventilation. You can get cooled and heated seats. In the past, you had to get the sofas, which were the comfort seats, which just didn't look quite as sporty or nice in an RS7, but those did have massage and cooled. But finally, with the sport seats in the brand new RS7, you can have cooled and heated. They're not massaged though, but that's fine. I just want some cooling. 12.3-inch virtual cockpit screen right in the middle, reconfigurable. And then the other really cool thing also is when you do have the tachometer up, you can go through the center screen and change to like runway view or this kind of performance angled view, and also the conventional circular dials. Dual touchscreens here in the middle for your climate control, various vehicle settings, nice ambient lighting. The carbon interior package also brings the carbon fiber weave on various trim surfaces, and it's exposed so you can feel a texture to it. It's not covered in like the clear coat that's all smooth and glossy. It's got this nice touch to it. You can get things like Alcantara headliner, upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system, things like that. This car is moderately optioned. Check out the interior and details video I made where I go way in depth into showing all the little touches. We look at the window sticker for this specific car. But overall, this RS7 feels similar to the original gen because, again, it's still the same type of vehicle, just very, very updated with the latest technology, nice luxury features. I really like the inside of this vehicle. And with that, we are going to fire her up and go for a drive. All right, we are on the road with the new RS7. We pulled out of the dealership and almost immediately into a small traffic jam. So let's talk about some of the technical details as pertains to how this vehicle drives before hopefully we get an open stretch of road. So the RS7 has air suspension as standard. It rides 0.4 inches lower than the A7, which this is based off of, and when you put it into dynamic mode, it drops an additional 0.4 inches. All-wheel steering is standard too, so rear-wheel steering effectively allows you to add stability at higher speeds and extra maneuverability at lower speeds, which is very, very nice. Like I mentioned before too, we have the drive select modes. Like before, auto, dynamic, and comfort. Comfort being the most comfortable, dynamic being the most sporty. The new thing is RS Mode 1 and RS Mode 2. We have this RS button on the steering wheel that allows you to essentially configure what you want RS1 and RS2 to be. You go to the center, you set your engine response, your transmission response, your exhaust sound, your differential, all sorts of things, suspension, and you can kind of hotkey through. So I just went into RS Mode 1, and the center cluster even changed over to the airport runway tachometer display. I've got a power and a torque gauge there. And then just to recap too, again, still an 8-speed automatic transmission, but something new. We have actual launch control, because prior to this, it was just essentially brake boosting. There wasn't a true launch control available. Now we do finally have launch control, which I'm not going to try right now because this is a brand new vehicle that's unsold, and I respect it, but I'm sure it'll be very, very, very fast and quite a lot of fun. And I did briefly mention the weight before. This is a big vehicle. It's grown in size for sure. Obviously, the fender flare is almost an inch wider on each side. Driving on the road, it does feel large, and it's heavy. Almost 5,000 pound curb weight, which is heavier than a Q7. A Q7 is like 4,700 something pounds. This is 5,000 pounds, 49 something. What? How did it gain 400 or 500 pounds? That's crazy. I can hypothesize. It is a little bit bigger, maybe more sound deadening, some different material choices, bigger wheels, way bigger wheels. 48-volt mild hybrid system too for stop-start, so this is a mildly hybridized 4-liter twin-turbo V8. Regardless, it's a heavy, bigger vehicle, and you can feel it. Other things that I've noticed, the new heads-up display is amazing. There's so much more information than before. The full tachometer is there, the speed limit, temperatures, what gear I am in, my speed itself. That looks very awesome. Virtual cockpit is a huge upgrade. I love the different dials and information. I got a G meter on the left there. Engine is coming up to temperature now. Navigation's pulled up here. This is what I've always loved about the RS7. It's the blend of everything. It does everything. You can have the comfort. If I throw it in a comfort mode with air suspension, you kind of cruise along like you would in an A8. And then you throw in a dynamic and you could legitimately keep up with an R8 V10. It is able to do all the things, and it's a brilliant one vehicle, which is what I did. I consolidated a Audi S4 and an Audi R8 into one car, an RS7. And I'm happy to say this latest gen update checks all the boxes and is improved in almost every single way. Before we get onto Lakeshore Drive, let's talk a little bit about value. It's very expensive, very, very expensive. And it's hard to justify value on a six-figure, almost 600 horsepower luxury sedan because it's just expensive and it depreciates a lot. That's just the way it is. The RS7 has gotten a little bit more expensive starting. 114 grand starting. I think mine was like 110-ish base price without options. And as option, my 2016 was 130 grand and it had a lot of things. Alcantara, upgraded B&O, adaptive cruise control, carbon optics. This car as equipped is 124,000 something. So just under 125 grand, and it's one of those initial vehicles. Again, this is one of the first cars to hit American dealerships. So we do have carbon interior, black optics, upgraded wheels on the outside, driver assistance, but it doesn't have carbon ceramic brakes. It doesn't have carbon optics on the outside. It does not have upgraded B&O sound system. There's a lot of things you can add, and when I was playing with the configurator, I got it up to like 137 as equipped, comparable to my previous gen. So it's gotten more expensive than before. If you are slightly more price sensitive, and maybe if you want the wagon, the RS6 is actually $5,000 cheaper. So you get to save some money to get even more space for the same powertrain and same interior and same everything, which is an interesting, I don't even know if I want to call it a compromise. Where this actually comes out to be a good value is if you look at one of its cousins, a Panamera Turbo from Porsche. Same engine essentially, I mean similar class vehicle. This is a lot cheaper than that, which starts at like $150 something thousand. In that case, it becomes a decent value. And also like other competition from other non-Volkswagen family vehicles, VAG families. You look at an AMG GT63 four-door, way more money. Even a M8 competition somehow is still way more money. So when you start looking at those type of things, this new RS7 is not a bad value. The other big hole in that entire argument is it worth the upgrade from a C7.5 or C7? You get a 2014 through 2018 RS7, even an RS7 Performance, you're saving easily $40,000 to $60,000. But again, you're a whole gen older, out of warranty likely, unless you have extended warranty. This is all new tech. It is faster. It is the new car. We have laser headlights on this thing. That's a personal decision to be made. For context, I guess I made the decision of buying a certified pre-owned vehicle because I know these do depreciate a lot. But as your personal situation changes, I mean, I would love to have this as my daily driver. I would definitely love to have one of these as my daily driver for sure. All right. All right, and we're out of the traffic. Let's go. The steering actually feels quite light, even though I'm in RS mode 1, but I'm actually not sure what RS mode 1 on this car right now is configured to. We just went to RS2. Nope, that turned stability control off, which I don't want at the moment right now. So let's just go back to regular dynamic. Oh, that was half throttle. Oh, the torque you feel. Since I've gotten rid of my RS7, I obviously have a naturally aspirated high-revving Shelby 350R now, which really doesn't have torque at all, and this thing is just a rocket ship. Oh, let me compose myself and contain my excitement so I can speak coherently. How does it sound entirely stock? Here's a little tunnel. So, one thing, at least in America, we don't have the GPF, the gas particulate filters, which neuter the sound in Europe, which I feel really bad for them. So it still sounds pretty. It's got that nice rumble to it. An aftermarket exhaust would definitely waken it up, but this does also have the sport exhaust system, which definitely helps the sound a bit. Oh, just the effortless torque. Oh man, there are cars around, there are people around. Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. This is the brand new RS7. Oh my God. Yeah, okay. I mean, obviously it hasn't lost any of the performance at all. It's gained it, and despite the added weight, this thing is still a bank vault being shot out of like a nuclear launch pad or something. Oh my God, that was a really weird metaphor, but it scrambles your brain when you have something like this. So in terms of any downsides, any negative things that I've discovered up to this point, I do think the wheels are a little bit too big. 22s is comical. You don't have as much sidewall. I did put it into comfort mode now, and it does smooth out some of the bumps. It rides a bit better, but in the winter with potholes and things like that, I would be terrified to drive on 22s with such a heavy, large vehicle too. And the other, I think, other complaint, the negative downside would be the weight. This thing has gotten heavy and big, and you feel that size. It before, when you threw it in dynamic, you'd feel like, oh, it gets pretty nimble, but this is like you're approaching A8 levels of wafty rocket ship at this point. Otherwise, the interior technology is beautiful. The new materials and design I like a lot. It's much more modern, clean. These touchscreens do clean it up. There aren't buttons scattered all over the place, which I know I have said where like I do like buttons because you can just click them. But the way Audi's laid this out is actually really intuitive, and you very, very quickly learn how to do it, and you get feedback because it vibrates when you click the screen when I want to drop my temperature down or something, or turn on my heated and cooled seats. The performance is undeniable. It took the previous Gen 1 and turned it up a bit. I've driven tuned RS7s, very modified RS7s, stock RS7s, and this definitely doesn't match like if you do like a bolt-on or a stage 2 previous Gen RS7, those are like 700 plus horsepower, crazy, insane vehicles, and this isn't that level of ferocity, but it has the refinement still. I am very, very happy to say that I love this new RS7. So as we wrap up, final thoughts with this first drive on the 2021 RS7. I did earlier say, is it worth the premium? Like just say 40 grand, 50 grand more than a 2016 RS7 like mine was. For a brand new car with a new tech, if you can, I would spend it. If I could, I would do it. Back when I had mine, I would do it. I don't think I want to go back to my 2016 RS7 after driving this. It would feel quite dated and just not the same level of tech, and just everything in this thing looks so much more aggressive. In person, the flared fenders, the updated lights with the cool little light show when you unlock it, and the sequential laser headlights, everything about this just is the next level of epic luxury Audi performance sedan. And this latest RS7 has absolutely preserved the dual personality, the ability to be a comfortable luxury executive sedan that I could legitimately just, if I wanted to right now, I could just like take off and drive all the way to California. Now, the dealership might be a little bit upset if I took their car, but I would be in absolute comfort. It'd be great. This would be great. And then you throw it in dynamic mode and it wakes up and becomes just a beast. Actually, forget the dynamic mode. This RS mode button's way easier. Just click that. Let's do that instead. Oh yeah. I like the new RS7. This has been a lot of fun. This has been quite awesome. And with that, we shall end this review. Again, special thanks to Fletcher Jones Audi in Chicago. They have this cars available right now. I promise you guys, whoever wants to buy this, I took care of it. I didn't launch it, nothing. This is a nicely colored, because Nardo Gray is awesome. Pretty well configured RS7 available now. Make sure you guys check out the interior and details walk around video I did showing off the inside and all the electronic and MMI features and things like that. Oh man, this has been great. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.